Today is October 19th. The Dodgers have punched their ticket to the World Series. The Mariners and Blue Jays are playing as we're alive tonight. Let's do a Pirates show in October and ruin Pirates baseball. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. I'm joined, as always, by my brother, Jake. What's up, Jake?
What's going on, man?
The mornings are tough.
Yeah.
I get better as the day goes. Mornings, I'm out, man. We're doing this show with cough drops.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, you do. You guys watching the Blue Jays Mariners game? Mariners could punch their ticket today, down 2-0 in the third. Let me know in the chat if you guys are excited for the World Series yet, or if one of these teams will make it more interesting for you. We got some love for both hats. Miles likes yours. Martin, not sure about yours. I like Vin Scully. I have the shirt with the Vin. I have the shirt with the Vin Scully. Absolute classic. Love Vin Scully. Love it. Doug Smith says, ruin baseball. As ELO says, don't bring me down. And he's rooting for the Blue Jays. All right. Need back-to-back wins here for the Blue Jays to get back.
Yeah. They got to back to win it, to get there.
Well, no, the Mariners won last night.
Oh, yeah.
Or, well, before the day off. Not last night, but before the day off.
Yeah.
Valdez taking my aggressive approach tip at the plate. Says Bucko Mike. We're going to talk about him, obviously, to kick off the show. But Cheryl says she'll be rooting for whoever plays the Dodgers. So we'll get into that a little bit too. It's been a good postseason. Obviously, the Dodgers handling the Brewers pretty easily. That was actually a little bit surprising for me. The Brewers' best team, record-wise, all season, and just couldn't hit.
Nah, they just laid eggs. One run each game.
Do you credit the Dodgers pitching for that as much as maybe just an offense that fell flat, an offense that was really good all year?
Yeah, I think that goes both ways. I didn't get to immensely watch all the games, so I can't sit here and say, they saw something and they picked at it or anything like that. It's just a major league team like the Brewers, like as good as they were all year, don't just all of a sudden fall flat. Maybe they have a guy or two that falls flat, but usually the whole team in general doesn't fall flat. So I see some of the guys in the lineup could have went cold. Some of the guys in the lineup were getting beat by good pitching. Made it look worse than it was. I don't know. You got to give credit to a team that finds a way to shut an offense down. You can't just say, oh, they went cold. And I don't know. It's tough because I don't like to take credit away from people either, even if they are paid more than everyone else. Because I don't think that's fair to the human being side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, once you get into a game, it doesn't matter how much anybody's making. Anybody can win that game that day.
Yeah.
But, I got to say, though, it would be, Cheryl brings it up here, it would be not a baseball podcast if we didn't bring up the night that Ohtani had for Game 4.
Unbelievable.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you've probably never seen anything like it, right? I know I have not seen anything like it. Has there been anything like it, right? I think the closest thing was Rick Wise. Have you heard the Rick Wise stat line from June 23rd, 1971, he no-hit the Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds with Pete Rose, George Foster, Concepcion, Tony Perez, Johnny Bench. He no-hit that team and hit 2 home runs.
Dang.
Now, he only had 3 strikeouts. So the 10 strikeouts for Ohtani, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, okay, he had 3 home runs, more strikeouts, but he only went 6 and gave up a hit or 2. And
2 hits.
Yeah, so 2 hits. And then this guy no-hit the Cincinnati Reds with like 4 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean, Rose, obviously, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a Hall of Famer, but by all means, the most hits ever. So,
Yeah.
And then here's the crazy thing. His next start, June 28th, he gives up a couple runs and 8 hits, but he still gets the win, has 11 strikeouts. I forget who he's playing in this game. 11 strikeouts and hit a solo home run in the 5th and a grand slam in the 7th. Rick Wise, dude. Why have we not been talking about Rick Wise for the Phillies? What is this guy?
Jeez.
Back-to-back starts with 2 homers? Why are we talking about Rick Wise?
Golly.
No,
I
obviously. Go ahead.
I think part of what just set that night apart is, I mean, he went backside for one. He hit one out of the daggum stadium on the roof. Like,
oh my gosh.
I mean, it's just, these weren't like, I almost said skyscrapers. These weren't wall scrapers. Like, he was blasting the ball. And then on top of that, just overpowering everybody on the mound. Like, it was incredible. His splitter was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Just in general, all world's performance.
Yeah.
And from a guy who has that type of, like, anyone can have that night. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, not anyone, because you're talking about a guy who's actually pitching and hitting, which is already rare.
And batting leadoff.
And yeah, well, sure. But like, the thing is like a 3-homer night, backside, hit it out of the state. Like, anyone can technically have that game. Pitching 6 shutout innings with 10 strikeouts. Anyone can have that game. To put them together is like mind blowing. And then the fact that, like, no, this is who this guy is. Like, it's not just a, hey, he just played the best game of his life, even though probably did.
Yeah.
As good as he is, that's probably still the best game of his life.
Yeah.
And coming off the heels of Jake, let's not beat around the bush, man. He stunk before this.
Yeah. He was batting like 166 in the playoffs.
He's just striking out every at bat. Like, he stunk. And so for him to just come right out of it, you know what I mean? And do that is incredible. It is like nothing we've seen since Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And I'll still hold to that. And I know, well, he didn't hit and field at the same time, or he didn't hit and pitch at the same time. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is the talent was there. They didn't let him do it, first off.
Right.
They just didn't let it happen. But this is a guy in Babe Ruth who pitched one of the best World Series games ever. Well, you know what I mean? And then he turns around and he was so far above everyone else. Like, Ohtani might lead the league in home runs, but there's another guy on his heels. There's another guy with maybe a couple more. There's another, you know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't even close other than maybe his teammate Lou Gehrig after a minute. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, what Babe Ruth was doing was equally as unheard of as what Shohei's doing. To do it in this day and age, I mean, yeah, it's absolutely insane. What a game. Yeah. What a game. Fun to watch. I'm not a big fan, right? You know this. I'm not a big fan. I feel like if he just focused on hitting, he'd be better because he's going to keep getting hurt pitching. It's going to continue to happen. He's going to miss time. He's missing years at a time because he keeps getting hurt. And he misses, I mean, not 2 full years because he just hits while he's still recovering, but he's still losing time on the field because of it. And I think that this guy his numbers in the end aren't going to be as astronomical as what he was for the game.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't think he'll pitch for a lot of very many more years.
I think it's there. I think it's part of him, and I think he'll do it as long as he can. And even if it cuts his career short, I think he'll just dominate as long as he can. It seems to be what his deal is. And I've said it before, he's not the best pitcher and he's not the best hitter, but my goodness, he's close on both. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's wild, man.
So I guess claps to Shohei. That's crazy performance. And, you know, is whatever the Dodgers are and whatever you like or don't like about them, you said this already about the human in general. It's not to hold it against a player because a team wants to offer him money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, you ain't saying no.
Right.
So, all right. Before we get into the Dodgers stuff, Jake, let's do it, Emmanuel. Let's do a Esmeralyn Valdez. I said Emmanuel. An Esmeralyn Valdez update because dude deserves to be talked about right now. Holy cow. In the Arizona Fall League. You guys, if in the chat you see Bucka and Mike dropping a bunch of Arizona Fall League stats in there. Thanks, man, because I actually didn't write anybody down but Valdez. So I'll actually go through your messages in there. Valdez hit 2 more home runs today and a double today. And that's not a joke. He's now hit 7 home runs in 8 games in the Fall League so far. It's silly. He's got a 500 average, 686 on base, a 1.60 slugging, good for a 2.286 OPS. 2.286 OPS.
Talking about getting hot.
10 hits, 7 of them are homers, and 1 double today. 13 walks and driven in 13, and he's only struck out 3 times. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Jake, how are you, I'll say, allowing yourself to like get excited about this? Like, not just like the run he's on, but the player himself.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not allow yourself to get excited? We got to get excited about something as Pirates fans. You know what I mean? Like, allow yourself to enjoy something like this. I mean, it's not fair to us that it's not happening at the big league level, but hey, take what you can get right now.
Yeah, he's just tearing up.
Yeah.
There you go. But that's that OPS. It's 2.286. But I put Bucka and Mike's up there on the screen. What he put in there. Blanco 412, 6 RBIs. He hit a home run already too. Any comments there?
That dude is huge. Massive human being.
Axial Plaz, who actually is playing for a different team than the rest of the Pirates prospects. It must have been like a late ad or whatever. But yeah, 538 average for him. They've all been singles, but 20 years old. I know Bucka Mike says 19 here. He is 20. But Axial Plaz, a catcher in the system. And, we've talked about him on here before. So that's an interesting one as well.
Still think that's who we saw down in Florida.
I think so too. So back to Esmeralyn Valdez real quick, because obviously there's more to it than just, hey, we have a prospect kind of going at it here. But this is Rule 5 year for him. And a lot of times, like the corner outfielders, he's 21 years old. The corner outfielders like that, yes, there's power there. Those guys just don't get picked up on the Rule 5 draft very often. With this run and the 20 homers that he hit in the regular season, 20 plus, are you making sure that you protect this guy?
I think so. I really do. You got to cover it. Power like that doesn't come around all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he should be added. He should be added and he should be protected. So, yeah, I agree. I'm protecting that.
Especially with a team that doesn't have a lot of power right now. You got to keep him. You got to keep him protected.
Cheryl says, does Valdez only play first? No, he plays outfield. So a lot of right field, more corner outfield than first base, I would say. The first base is kind of new from my understanding. So this is more of a corner outfielder. Still, 26 homers, 86 RBIs this year. So is that combined? Mike, for between the fall league and regular season? No, because he had over 20. So he had 26 homers this season. And then he's added another 7 in the fall league. Greg says Rockies or White Sox will swoop in and grab him. For sure. I mean, they could.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's an easy decision at this point.
Yeah.
And I am excited about the player. We haven't had power. We haven't had power like that in a minute. So I think it's worth it to to make sure that we protect that. So that's very good.
Yeah.
All right. So give him left field, Cheryl says. Let's just bring him in right now. I would. I really think they should seek out left field before that. And yeah. But I like it. I'm here for it. I would imagine, I mean, this guy's going to be in spring. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to see him. He's going to be on the 40-man. It's the whole 9 yards. So it'll be exciting to see him next spring. Let's go ahead and talk about the Dodgers and Dave Roberts' comments and let that segue us into more of a conversation here today, because I know a lot of people have had problem with this. But the quote that Dave Roberts made after they won and they moved on was, at the beginning of the year, everybody said the Dodgers are ruining baseball. So let's win 4 more and really ruin baseball. I'll say, from my standpoint, I just don't like that. I don't like going there. That's where I'll start. And I'll let you defend him for a second if that's what you want to do.
I mean, I think it's fair what you're saying, but at the same time, I think it's just more of a. I don't have a big problem with him saying that, because I don't think he actually intends to ruin baseball. I think he's just taking what someone else said and throwing it back at him. And I don't. He just wants to win games. He just wants to win a World Series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, right? You should want to win games. You should want to do it. All that stuff. You've got a chip on your shoulder. I think if it was my choice, I would say that we're not ruining baseball. You'd come up with the words right, but we're making it better, or whatever. You know what I mean? I think I would just go with that narrative. Like, look what Shohei just did. You're saying this is bad for baseball? Like, that's not bad for baseball. Like, he had a clean shot to do that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's bad for baseball. I don't know how I really feel about the whole thing. Obviously, are they ruining baseball? And let's get rid of. I don't know. Like, the Dodgers themselves, right? Let's make this clear. They're not doing anything against the rules right now.
Right.
With that said, the rules need to change.
That's fair.
And if the Dodgers go on and they win, our chances of those rule changes probably increase. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put this into thoughts, Jake. If you want to interrupt me, man, feel free. Yeah. I can't blame the Dodgers themselves.
Yes.
Certainly not the players.
Yeah.
But even the organization, like, yes,
it's within the rules right now.
Yeah, and it's cheap, right? What they're doing with the deferrals and they're taking money out of the Pirates pockets for that, or the Pirates. This would be shared revenue. Let's get one thing clear: this would be shared revenue. They have to spend this, right? And everything they get in shared revenue, they have to also spend from their own revenue. Like, we understand that it's not all player payroll, but it has to at least be. It has to at least be in player development or major league payroll, one or the other. It has to be spent on that. And for every dollar they get, they have to spend, what is it, 50% of that more or something like that, or maybe 100%. I don't remember what it is. Maybe it's 100% of that they have to spend. I don't know why that's leaving my mind right now. Forgive me. I've been sick for the last 4 days, but they have to spend that money. So the more money they get, the more money they will spend. They have to.
Yeah.
And that's straight in payroll that they have to put that money in. So that's there. So like the fact that they're deferring contracts, they're taking money that they don't have to pay into the luxury tax. That's the part I hate. So if nothing else, the rule needs to change that if you pay all your deferred money goes straight to the dollar, goes into your tax money. But for all intents and purposes, they're paying them what, $2 million? And like 46 million is how much that is in the books to pay into the luxury tax. That's their CBT money, because that's what it is in today's money. Sure, it's 68 million in 20 years from now, but like in today's money, that's only 46 million, something like that. It should just be straight up. Like it should be straight up. No, you owe on 70 million right now. Paid up.
Yeah.
They can do that.
Whether it's deferred or not, they should still be held accountable. Like,
right.
The player wants to set it up that way, then that's his prerogative, but you should be hit with that penalty right now.
And they're basically using inflation and saying that you're paying on all of that, but in today's standards, it's only like 46 point something million, whatever that number is. Right. And so that, I mean, it's just garbage, right? They should have to pay on all of it.
Yeah.
They're taking money away from the teams like the Pirates and teams that are receiving shared revenue. They're taking money away from them. And that's the part that can't be done. The more money that goes to the Pirates, the more money the Pirates have to spend. And we know that the Pirates have to spend more. And we know that the Dodgers are just playing from an advantage here. I saw a graph earlier today where somebody was trying to say, look at the percentage of payroll, look at the percentage of revenue that is spent on payroll. And this is every team all the way through. And of course, like, the Mets are stupid with their money. They even make the playoffs. They spent 90% of their revenue on payroll. You spent 90% on guys that go against you to postseason. So way to go. Anyway. The Mets are like the Browns, like they just do it wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But either way, no offense to Browns fans out there, but they make it look bad for the teams who don't spend a lot. I think the Pirates were on there for like 36%, while the Dodgers, who were the first normal team on the list, were at like 71%. And they're like, look how much they spend of revenue. Look at this, look at that. And it's like, bro, first things first, every team had a gap of around 175 million to like 215 million. That was the gap. Well, of course, the more money you start with, the closer that number is going to be. Where if you're only working with 400 million and you have to keep a cap of 200 million for general expenses, lease, all the different things that people do, right? And if you do all that and you have to have 200 million to pay for everything else, then you're going to be at 50%, just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're working from less than that, which the Pirates are definitely less than that, they're working from like 326 million of revenue, according to this graph, which, mind you, I don't even know that is true. We don't even believe it to be factual, right? It's like, close enough. That's the way most of these things work, right? Unless you're Ethan, it's close enough. So the thing is like, of course, the percentages are going to be off. When you start from 700 million plus and the Pirates are just barely over 300 million, like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
If you have a gap of 200 million between the top, it's going to be a bigger. Anyway. So things need fixed, right?
Yeah.
If they win, do we lock out in 27? Is it a guarantee?
No, I don't think it's a guarantee.
Or do you think it doesn't change the guarantee? Where are you at with that?
It's so hard for me because they got to be everybody knows it's coming. You got to have this stuff in your pocket ready to go. And it's so hard. Like, I hope not, but seems likely. Highly.
Yeah. What do you guys think in the chat? You think that we're doomed, or do you think there's a way out of this? And do you think that the Dodgers winning it plays an impact on it? You know what I mean? I mean, right now it's going to be the Mariners or the Blue Jays. If it's the Blue Jays, I mean, it's another high dollar team still.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be the Brewers. They've already exited. So if the Brewers would have beat the Dodgers, I think they probably weren't going to get anything done, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because they would just say, see?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd be done. Right?
Yeah, it's tricky, man. It's just so no one knows what they're going to do once they close those doors.
Yeah. Greg says, let them win every game from now on until the lockout. I'll miss baseball, but it needs a cap. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. Like, I've said it before that I don't care when they fix it. I don't want to miss baseball. I'm only here for, 80 years, give or take. I'd rather just see more baseball. I've already had a couple seasons taken away from me, and I don't care to have any more. But I get it. I just don't care. Like, I don't care if my kids are adults and they're just then having to cancel a season. They didn't have to sit through 95 or even 2020. They don't know what was going on. They can sit through one when I'm dead. You know what I mean? I don't know. And that's just one thought. And I've had that thought, right? I don't know where I'm at with it, but either way, we'll be here to follow it and all this stuff. But Martin brings up a question that basically gets us into our last thing. Are teams going to spend more or less on free agents this offseason because of the possibility of a lockout after next year? I think this is a really good question to ask, and probably something that I will take to the next step and just ask, like, okay, what about the Pirates specifically, right? Do you think that the Pirates will, well, we're going to talk about extensions more than free agency. And so we'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, this is a good question, Jake, because there's two schools of thought here. You may not have to pay a salary for 2027. So a 2-year deal should be easy. Yeah, a 1-year or 2-year deal is essentially a 1-year deal at this point.
Yeah.
Depending on how it all shakes up and works out, right? And so, obviously, even a 3-year deal is like, you're still there. Maybe it's an option for a 3rd year or something like that. Like, Ben Sherrington's got to do options first, but I don't know, man. I'm curious to see how teams approach this in regards of, I might as well offer a 10-year deal and spend a lot of money because most likely all that gets grandfathered in. So if I have a guy that I really want to lock up, we better do it now so that I can have that on the books and they can't take it away from me.
Yeah. I think that with everything that's going to go down, if they all of a sudden go from no cap to a cap, they're going to have to do something with the existing contracts. And I don't know what they can do. I don't know how that would work, but you would almost hope that they would make some of these contracts that are in there be renegotiated.
No. Everything in baseball is guaranteed. And they'll keep that. No other sport has that. Unless it's a specific guaranteed contract in the NFL, which is relatively new.
That's fine, but I get that, but if you go to if you change the whole scale of the way players are paid, how I don't see how the teams can operate. Like you say grandfathered in, but it doesn't make it wouldn't make sense to grandfather them in and just be like, oh, well, they're over cap, but that's fine. They'll have to adjust it at some point. Like that doesn't compute to me. Like I feel like the Dodgers would have to go back in and renegotiate a contract. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say no. I would say that it's going to take time. It's going to take time for this to really come into play. But I would be surprised if on the other side of this thing, if baseball doesn't have a soft cap system anyway, let's understand this. Baseball already has a cap. It just doesn't have a cap system. There is a tax threshold. If you go over that, you owe money to everybody else. So I think that they will put that at a place close to where it is. Maybe, I don't really know. I'm making this stuff. This isn't my forte, so to speak, but I would imagine that they're not going to spend a lot less money. I think that it's going to allow more money to be spent from everywhere else eventually, because the Dodgers contracts are the Dodgers contracts and they will play those out. Now they won't be able to add free agents. That'll be the thing.
Yeah.
They won't be able to add to that once they're above a certain thing. Sounds like you got some horsing around going on back there.
Yeah. Yeah. The robot vac is going around and our dog hates it.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. So anyway, I think that it'll be a soft cap. They'll allow them to go over that, and then they'll still pay a tax. But first and foremost, broadcast rights are going to have to be centralized. That's going to take time. So there might even still be, we're agreeing to this. We're going to do percentages over the next 5 years until it's all central, right? I think how in the world else could you do it? How could you funnel all that money just like that when, like, I'm going to be sympathetic to the Dodgers for this. Like, they worked out that deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? And really the Dodgers aren't getting away with what they're getting away with because of their broadcast money. Like, that's a great contract. It's the highest in baseball for sure. And that's a big part of it. But they're getting away with this because the money that their ownership group has, the deferred money and all this stuff, like they don't have to, they can play from a deficit because they basically own this team so that they can flip it in 20 years when it's worth even more money. Right. Mm. This is a completely different like world that they're living in. The Yankees, on the other hand, would be upset about losing their Yes Network money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I still think that ticket sales and parking and whatever else that goes to the stadium is going to go to the team. And they're going to still make more money than the Pirates because they'll still be able to, right? They'll have to work something out like that. But as far as centralizing all the broadcast stuff, that's what's going to make all the money funnel to MLB and then get spread out so that those bottom teams can get to a level of competition that they can compete with the higher end teams. Most of these sports, their cap systems are within 10, 11, 12% of each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the floor is like 89 to 90% of the cap. That's not going to happen in the sport. I just don't think it is. No. Maybe over time, but like, I don't even think over time. I think they'll go with a soft cap. I think you'll still be able to retain your players the way they are in NBA. You can re-sign players if you're above the cap, as so long as they are already your players. You can pay them more money to keep them. This way, you don't lose players because you don't have money, right? I think that's fair, but I think they'll do something where it'll be a soft cap, and once you go over that cap, you'll have to pay taxes, which even feeds that floor even more. And so I think that's what's going to happen with this sport. I just think it's too different from the other sports that they won't be able to get a full... I mean, maybe somebody else has optimism around that, and power to you if you do. I just don't see something like that working out here. And like I said, I don't know. So I'm here to follow it, but I think baseball will get a soft cap. I think you'll still have a gap, but the difference will be that gap will be closer, and the Pirates will have more money to work with, and the Dodgers will have to pay into that. Yeah, Blue Jays up 5-0 now. Vlad Guerrero, another home run.
Stud.
Absolute stud. Man. Pushing game 7.
Yeah.
Anything can happen at that point. So anyway, I think that this is going to be, a big deal, obviously, but I wonder how far it goes. And I think if they could, I mean, what's the luxury tax at right now? Ethan doesn't seem like he's in the chat right now, but what's the luxury tax at right now? Do you know?
I'm the worst at that, man.
You're the worst at that.
When it comes to like the money stuff.
Whatever that is, like that's probably still the cap. And the Pirates won't get there, right? But if they get them to 150, you know what I mean?
241 million.
That's what I thought. I was going to say 246. 241 million for that first level cap, right? Or threshold. I think that's where they set it. And if you're above it, you owe a tax, and you pay that tax into the deal the same way you do right now. But the difference is that broadcast money, and maybe that tax is heftier, right? Maybe they do something with that tax to make it a little bit more to really incentivize you to stay below that tax. And I mean, teams like the Dodgers still won't. They'll pay that tax. Cohen will pay that tax. He pays a ton of money into that tax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know what? Power to you, because the more you do that, the more money comes back to us and the floor can be raised. And they can put that floor somewhere around 150, 175. And I'm sorry, like when you really think about it, like the Brewers aren't there. They won 96 games this year. Mm-hmm. And they're not at 150. Where were they at? 130 something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So OG's smart. He knows a lot of this stuff. He just popped in. But anyway, I think still baseball comes with something that's a lot further apart than other sports. But tell me right now, Jake, the Pirates are somewhere between 100 and I think on some papers it's 112, when it comes to actual CBT money, right? But the actual money going out is under 100, I think, right now, or it was for this season or whatever. So you're telling me that if the Pirates had another $50 million to spend, $60 million to spend, somewhere around there, you telling me that they couldn't fix this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's all about allocating the funds correctly, too. It's not just about having money to spend. It's spending it correctly and making sure that they're actually spending all of it, Right. And that's what, the floor will be for, you know what I mean? The soft cap, you have a floor. You got to make teams like the Rays and the A's, and the Pirates. You got to make them spend the money that they're given as well. It's not just about having it there. Sure, right. You have it to spend it. Yeah.
Well, and the A's have gotten hit with that, right? Mm-hmm. Where they haven't spent the money, so they lost the money and stuff like that. Yeah. So, it's been there. But man, and you start to question, let's talk the Giants for a second. The Giants have tons of money. The Giants own their ballpark. They don't have to pay for their ballpark. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things there, but they've tried. They've offered money to Arson Judge. He signed there at one point. Arson Judge did. Remember that? John Heyman? You don't remember that? The look on your face says you don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
He tweeted Arson Judge to sign with the Giants. He messed up Aaron Judge. Anyway.
Okay.
And then he didn't sign with the Giants. But they had him. They had, there were guys lined up that they were talking to. Ohtani was very much in talks with the Giants. And who else? Remind me of who else. There were other guys, but
there were other ones I know.
But they fall short every time. So there even has to be something something has to be said for those types of teams. Like, hey, why won't anybody come here? And so if the Pirates start offering money and nobody takes the money, well, then it turns into it's time to extend guys.
Mess. Yeah.
So now we've got to just put money in guys' pockets that are already here because we can't convince anybody to come here. And I don't know, man. I think that obviously Carlos Correa, thank you.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep. That was a big one. And you know, so there was, and obviously, I mean, I think they were in on the Soto stuff for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they entertained it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk Pirates extensions then, because in this, okay, so we're pre all of that stuff. We're pre whether or not that happens again. There's got to be some level of confidence or maybe doubt that things will get fixed in the next CBA, or that at least they will work their way there. And that's kind of where I am. I think it'll be a plan to happen over the course of 3, 5, 10 years. I don't know what in the world they'll end up with when they walk away from this thing, but it'll be something that probably won't just be a switch that's flipped and everything's done next year. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it can happen.
No, they're going to have to give, for one, all contracts will probably be grandfathered in and they'll just have to pay the tax on it. And maybe their tax won't be increased to the full payment unless they sign new players or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However it works out. So if you're the Pirates and you say, well, then let's just say you're not going to pay anybody in 2027, maybe. There's no reason to offer a 1-year deal on free agency. And you have guys that like, how does this work with service time and how long I'm going to have players and so on and so forth. So let's just talk more realistically. Who are you extending, or at least let's talk about the conversations that had to be had. Guys, in the chat, put in a name of somebody that you want us to bring up in extension talks in particular. And we'll go ahead and start with what Martin says here. Back to Pirate extensions. What should they offer Skeens? Not should they, what should they offer Skeens? And I don't know that I've gone to this level, right? But I think if off the top of my head, if you buy 2 years of free agency, where's he at right now? This will be year 3. He's going to make league minimum or something. He's got 3 years of arbitration. So let me do some math real quick here. Okay. Just because I wasn't prepared for this, but not for an actual number, right? But
Right.
it's worth it. It's worth it to entertain it, right? So, oh shoot, I've already done the wrong thing. If you want to buy 2 years of his free agency, I think you could go to like 115. And I think he'd be hard pressed to say no to that. And my process is, if you go around, if you go around like 50 or so million for arbitration years for the 3 years of arbitration, he's going to make a lot. And then you add 30 and 35. I think that equals out to about 115, 116 if you add this year, right? So, and if you start him this year on the payment, then you could even you can even get him to 120 and pay him more right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if you want to do,
evenly.
If you want to do the next step and take off 3 years, which would be a little bit harder for him to go after, because right now Skeens is a free agent before the 2030 season. So you're saying get him to 2032. He's 23. So next year he'll turn 24 in May. So next year will be his age 24 season, essentially.
You'd be looking at like 30, 31.
When he hits free agency right now or after the extension?
I think my math was after the extension.
Yes, that's right. It is. So yeah, I mean, I could
He's
see
28.
him doing that. So if you go to 150, if you go to 150 and buy 3 years of free agency out, I think that he probably could reasonably sign that if he feels like the Pirates are doing the right thing. So here's what you do. If you want to lock up a player like that, the way that you do it is you give him an opt-out after the first free agent season for those last 2 years. You give him an option. He can either buy into the last 2 years or he can go to free agency. But if you make the playoffs 2 times, boom, you have the contract. So like it removes the opt-out, right? Because it shows that you're trying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
If you haven't made the
interesting.
so if you haven't made the postseason, I'll even say, if you haven't made the postseason after that first free agent season, then I'll let you go somewhere else. But if you've made the postseason, then you're locked in.
Yeah. Like voids the option.
It voids the option if we make the postseason. Even if you say like you made the postseason twice. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
I think that you could go into something like that. You're not entirely breaking the bank because you're spreading it out. And you have a guy that you know will post all of these years. And he's going to play the bulk of his career here. And OG says fair market for the rest of control and 3 years of free agency is more like 190. Why break that down for me? Because I hit him for $50 million for the ARB years, for the 3 ARB years combined. And I think that's pretty fair. I've heard that number thrown around previously. And if you add a year after that at 30 and a year after that at 35, that gets me to the 120. It's actually a little bit more than 30 and 35 to get me to 120. Right?
Yeah.
And then you hit another year of 30 to 150. So like 30, 35, I have a hard time saying that that's not to give you guaranteed money. Obviously there should be a little bit of a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is similar to what, like, say, like an Acuna deal, where they were able to sign him to a long-term contract quick. They were able to get a little bit of a deal on it.
And you can take that and you can put those last 2 years, like however you balance that out, right? Those last 2 years, those ones that he could opt in or out of, those will be $40 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can pace it. You don't just evenly spread it, but the way you work it out is that he's going to opt out of 2 years of $40 million each. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I don't understand how it would have to be much more than that to be, especially when you don't know what it's gonna look like at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of uncertainty there. He would be, any young player would be wise, especially a pitcher would be wise that if 150 million is thrown in your face, man, you'd be wise to take that. If you're still going to hit free agency at 29 or 31, you know what I mean? I see what you're saying, OG. Yep. I see what you're saying. So he's saying 190 is if you just do the math on 5.5 WAR at market rate. So that makes sense. But yeah, I think that would be it for Skeens. Let's talk about any of these other young pitching. Martin says, I would wait another year on the young pitchers other than Skeens. Greg says, I'd give Santana 2-3 years. Sign Ashcraft long-term too. Any thoughts on, let's go specifically Santana. I mean, we wrote him down kind of late in this. He's a free agent after next year. So now would be the time, if you were going to do it, right? You could go ahead and sign him for this year and maybe next year and then see what 2027 does, or sign him through 2027 if you want. That would be the 3 years that he's mentioning. You going there?
I'm not ready to go there. I think we have a lot of young pitchers right now, and I think one of them not going to say it's Majinski, but I think one of them could end up being a good closer as well. I just don't think it's necessary to sign an extension with a reliever.
I think if
they're always out there.
I think if you're going 2 years, including this year, which is upcoming, right? His last year of arbitration, because you could obviously you sign that extension, it buys that year out. You don't have to go to arbitration with him. I think if you give him a 2-year deal to get that next year bought, I think it's a pretty smart move. I don't think we have any immediate relievers right now that are at the caliber that he's at. You've had a reliever blow up in your face before. You'll have one again. That's not part of the equation for me. I think that there's not a lot of. I think our bullpen needs a lot of work, in my opinion. Now, maybe Matson and Sugart and Moretta and all those guys come through, and Nicholas. Those are 4 guys that I'm like, yeah, maybe they do come through and they're good. But those guys also might not be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think I'd like to see Santana maybe buy out that next year and say like, dude, maybe we got you. You know what I mean? And Ashcraft, I think I'm good waiting another year. I have 3 years of minimum contract with him. So for me, I'm waiting out the 2027 and all that stuff with those guys because they're not even going to hit arbitration until after that anyway.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm going to go the same thing with Bubba. Pitchers are really hard for me. And if I get a Skeens deal done, I'm reluctant to go that way more. Maybe once Keller's off the books. Now, maybe that is this offseason. I don't know. But I don't know. It's a really good question. Oviedo's brought up. I think I'm waiting on him too. I'm not really sure with the rest of our pitching, if they all come up and they're fantastic and everything like that. I mean, you might find Oviedo being a long man next year. And so I don't know what to pay him.
Plus, coming off the injury, you're still waiting to make sure that that's not too big of a concern before you start talking extensions.
Right. I think Oviedo's probably he's probably better fit to go a couple of years and maybe flip that player for something down the line as everything else keeps happening. So I don't know. Greg says Santana doesn't have to be the closer. I agree that Majinski will be the future closer. So that's even a good point too. You know what I mean? Right. Just to make sure that you have bullpen arms. I think I like that. All right, let's talk O'Neal Cruz. I know that's a big deal. What are your thoughts there? How do you feel about going into that right now? Is there confidence? Is there reservation? Like, I think this is a big time year for him.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like, one side of me wants to say, buy him low. Because he's a 2020 season, but at the same time, like, it was bad. It was not good. Probably one of the worst 2020 seasons ever recorded. I don't know.
Almost 2040. Like, it's almost a 2035,
yeah,
right? I mean,
20. But
he led the league in stolen bases.
You could buy low on him. The problem is you just can't absorb a contract to go that bad. If it goes bad, goes worse or the same even.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you could be looking at a Polanco deal.
Exactly. And he's going to cost more than Polanco, period. Like, you're not going to be able to buy him that low.
I don't know. It certainly wouldn't have to be as long. He's starting 3 years right now gets him to free agency. If you sign him 5 years, Polanco was signed for what, like 7 or 8 years. So
was it that long?
Well, he was signed very early.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things right now with O'Neal Cruz. It is, if you wait, you will not extend him.
Right.
Because if he blows up, then he's out of your price and he's only got 2 years to free agency. If he doesn't, then you just don't believe in the player anyway and you don't sign him. So I think with the 2027 coming and if that plays in, and that's kind of the exercise we're running through here a little bit, I think I waited out, and I think I just got to say he's a candidate to be here for 2 more years and get traded.
Yeah.
And if we don't have a
out,
2027, then we don't have a 2027, and he gets traded before we go into that next year. Or something drastic changes and he had a great year and you're able to just retain the player. But to be honest with you, I just have a problem with it at the scenario that we're in with Cruz right now. I think that the ship has sailed on getting it done. And I don't think that there's enough trust that the consistency's there. And I just don't know how long a player like that. I mean, how old is he now? What'd you write down? He's 27.
27.
So, like, how long do you have on a guy that's 6'7"? He's about to steal 40 bags, and he might do that again for maybe a couple more years. But, like, he's going to slow down.
Yeah.
The defense hasn't shown up yet. That's center field, locked up. I think I'd rather see, like, maybe you're making a deal and you got to find a way to replace that power. Maybe the key is Esmeralyn Valdez and things like that, guys like that. And maybe if the landscape changes, you'll be able to acquire power after that. I think I'm holding off on Cruz right now. And I think that my goal is to trade him after the 2027 season.
Yeah. And if everything goes well, you can trade him and you're going to get a good return.
Right. Yeah. At that point, you just kind of hope, because you didn't get it done, you hope he blows up. If there's a season in 27, you hope he blows up and you'll watch him do great things somewhere else, but that's okay because you have to get that return for him. You have to. You can't miss out on that. All right. Okay, so we go around. There's been a lot in the chat about Connor Griffin. We may as well bring that up right now. Do you go there? I know. You're
I'm in.
You're in.
I could see him getting a deal similar to the Jackson Chourio deal. Signing him early gets you a good deal. Gives him money in his pocket guaranteed. I can't imagine it doesn't work out well for both parties.
Yeah, I believe in it too, obviously. I don't know what that looks like. I haven't gone through that way, but I think I'd be close to entertaining that at this point. And that's something where if he shows up in spring training and everything's good, then yeah, you can give him one of those Chourio type deals or somewhere in that range. And the other thing is, Jake, is we gotta think about what we just said about Cruz. Like, Connor Griffin's eventual home could be that center fielder. He could be the answer there in center field.
Yeah.
You know, if something happens and you find yourself without a center fielder and you do have options at short, then by all means, he's willing, you know, and that would be
just to note this real quick. The Chourio deal was 8 years, 82 with a $2 million signing bonus. So like, that's just so doable. Something similar to that.
Right. And he's so young, which Chourio was too. Right. And so being that young, I don't understand.
He was the same age.
I don't understand how you don't sign that if you're a kid at 20 years old. How do you not sign $82 million? You're still going to hit free agency young, right? You're still going to be on the right side of 30 when you hit free agency.
So it also includes 2 club options for 2032 and 2033, which would increase the total value to $142.5 million.
Well, Sherrington's got to figure out how to do options. I think that's Greg's comment here about he doesn't believe that Sherrington's smart enough to sign Griffin to that type of deal. The first part, yes, I think I don't know if there's a real problem with it, but we haven't seen it yet with options. We've seen him kind of shy away from options. And I know that for me, man, I'd be getting super creative with those things in order to get people here. Get people here first. Give them an opt-out. Give him an opt-out after 2027. Like, whatever you sign this offseason, man, welcome those types of contracts. And yes, I know that it means that you might lose that player, but at least you'll get him here. Yeah. And that's got to be big. You've got to put wins on the board.
100%.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think Churio was 19 when he signed that deal. He made his major league debut at 20. So, anybody else that you're thinking of? I think it's pretty safe to say the second base group, like, we're not doing anything there. With Termar on his way, why would you lock in specifically Nick Gonzalez when you just had a down year? We don't really know what we're getting. I think he could bounce back, but I don't see that happening either. Is there anybody else that you'd like to bring up as a potential option you want to discuss before we get out of here? Yeah. The other guy I would consider is Horwitz.
Oh shoot! I didn't share OG's. Jake says Horwitz at the same time I'm looking through the chat, and I shared OG's. Don't extend anyone over age 25. So we know where he's going to be on this.
I like what he's brought to the table. I like what you see from him. I like the progression you're seeing from him after that wrist injury. I like the way he plays first base. I like his approach to plate. There's just a lot to like there. And I don't think it would be a break the bank type extension, but I think you could lock him up for a little bit.
I'll tell you why. I wouldn't. And this is the only reason. You still have control of him until 2030, like through 2030. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you still have 4 years of him, I think I'm okay just riding those 4 years. I don't think this is a guy who's going to be a 4-time All-Star and that you're going to be trading to get stuff. Like, this is a guy that you might let ride out that contract and walk to free agency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I guess you kind of already have 4 years of a guy who is already, he'll be 28 next year.
Yeah.
So you've already got him. You've already got him through his age 30s. That's not right.
Yeah.
Is that right?
A free agent before the 31 season?
For the 31. So you have him for 26, 27, 28, 29. So you've got him through age 31. Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, what are you gonna buy out? He's probably gonna want to hit free agency at 31. So I don't know that there's a whole lot there, like, as far as incentive for him to really sign long term. Now, there's nothing saying you don't go into that last year and saying, like, hey, he's a good player. He's not going to cost a lot. Let's just make him a Pirate and hold down first base and not worry about it. But I feel like you could just do that the year before he becomes a free agent and you just lock him in then. Especially if you've got money to play with and a cap system and the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? Shared revenue to spend and all that stuff. I think he's one that I'm definitely sitting on.
I'm thinking of somebody and I can't think of his name now.
Okay. OG says Bubba might be worth looking at. And I said before, like, if I sign Skeens, I might hold off on Bubba. Just because of the fact that, like, pouring a lot of money into 2 arms without knowing what's going to happen with shared revenue might be interesting. But if you can't get a Skeens thing done because it's just way too far out, then yeah, I mean, jump. You know what I mean? You want to make Bubba the guy, jump on it.
Yeah. You make a good point, because when I think of Horwitz too, this is who I was kind of trying to get to, is Eric Hosmer. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Eric Hosmer. And Hosmer didn't play past 33.
No, and it was a quick drop.
It was a quick drop. And I could see something like that possibly. See a lot of similarities in their game.
So let's say he turns into a guy like a Justin Turner, who is like, he's pretty. Now, Justin Turner ended up having some fantastic years in his 30s, right? Mm-hmm. where, I mean, numbers that nobody thought he would put up. But if he's like a mid-teens kind of guy and you're just like, hey, I just want to make this guy kind of a staple in this lineup, even though he's not one of the stars, he's just always going to be there. And, obviously it helps that Turner was a clutch guy in the postseason and so on and so forth. But I could see something like that too. I don't know. I don't know what his ceiling really is. We've seen 1 year of it, and half the year he was still getting over a wrist injury.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's just, let's ride this out. If we feel like we want to keep this guy a Pirate, I don't think he's going to really outplay to say like, let's offer him, $10 million for the next 4 years and he's probably going to take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Miles says it's the fear of not having a first base answer for so long. That's just see it secured for 4 to 7 years. And 4 is already secured. Just, in my defense, right? 4 is already secured.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, you might have Rafael Flores ready to take it over before that 4th year even. How do you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What if Esmerlin Valdez doesn't work out in the outfield and he ends up just being a good first baseman? You know what I'm saying? Like there's also situations that could come out of that, and we don't know who's next. You know what I'm saying? The Pirates might, I don't know. I don't have any idea, right?
We don't know what's next.
Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is a free agent, Jake. He's opting out. Let's go get him. The dork that he is. Katie would be so mad. It would be like when the Pirates signed Tommy Pham for me. If they signed Alonso, Katie would be so mad.
I don't know that it would be like signing Tommy Pham though. I just can't.
Just
the production is so much
well,
better.
Sure. Yeah, but
like not only do we not like the guy in Tommy Pham, it is just
he
not
also
good.
wasn't good. That's true. All right, this was fun. So what do we come out with? We're signing Griffin and Skeens.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw Dennis Santana. We're going to do a 2-year deal on Dennis Santana.
Yeah.
This is what we're extending. Are we happy with that?
Yeah. I can live with it.
Okay. Skeens is the big one, man. Yeah, I'm good with it.
This is definitely the big one.
You're killing me, Smalls.
We did it. Actually, I should play.
Well, you can wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which gets filled first.
Nothing to worry about, Josh. Kids eat quarters all the time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Crap out 2 dimes and a nickel, then you start worrying.
There, Martin says your Vin Scully hat is okay, Jake. I like it.
Thank you, sir.
Vin Scully, by the way, was one of my favorites. When we had no money and the only thing I bought was MLB TV, I would watch every Pirate game and then I would flip over and watch the Dodger game just to hear Vin Scully. That was my TV for the evening. I had nothing else. We had no cable, no nothing. So I watched the Pirates game. Then I watched the Dodgers game. Other than the night that we went 18 or whatever innings with the Braves, I didn't watch the Dodgers game that night.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
That's
I
funny.
just watched that long game and Jerry Meals blow it in the end.
Yeah.
And blow our 2012 season. Way to go.
That was bad.
This is fine.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us here live. Appreciate you guys as always. Everybody else, have a great day. Let's go, Bucks.
Let's go, Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.